This episode of Important If True is brought to you by Zipcar. Zipcar is the largest car-sharing network around, and if you go to joinzipcar.com/thumbs, you can get $25 in free driving credit. That's joinzipcar.com/thumbs. You made a sound about a minute ago that sounded like the guy Andy dying after getting kicked out of the club. Like
Andy, what are you talking about? Oh, Andy. Oh, Andy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe he was just sick.
You guys ready for a podcast?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No.
What? Oh, we're ready.
It's April 27th, 2017.
And this is Important If True.
Wow, from Idle Thumbs, I am Chris Remo.
I'm Nick Brecken.
And I'm Jake Rodkin.
Oh, hey.
Hey, everyone.
Hi.
Nick,
Hey.
you sound very sick.
I am. Hi. Oh, hey. By the way, Chris.
Yeah?
I took some NyQuil last night.
Uh-huh.
And,
yes.
Yeah. I was falling asleep.
Yeah.
Suddenly
God, you sound bad.
Suddenly jolted awake.
Uh-huh.
And
It happened. It's real.
it happened. And you know what I figured out?
What?
It's the sort of like cough suppressant. It's a suppressed cough is what that sound is.
I think you're right.
It's the sound of a cough that cannot actually escape your throat.
Yeah.
You know, it's that like
Yeah.
you know, but sort of like you're falling asleep, and so you're jolted in
Yeah.
the Goldblum way.
Uh-huh.
And so it's the combination of those
The
factors. I
suppressed
think.
cough plus the surprise that you fell asleep and are awake.
Right.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
so we're figuring out how we can reverse engineer and create our own Jeff Goldblum by making a human being who is sick and tired all the time,
by
but also
abusing
heavily
over-
medicated.
By abusing over-the-counter drugs.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a combination of that and a sort of vocalization of awareness, of sort of consciousness.
Right.
You know, at least I felt that when it was happening to me.
When we humans finally create life for the first time, when it expresses its awareness of consciousness, it'll go,
yeah. The sounds of sentience. The out of the primordial ooze emerged life. Yeah. No, I think you're onto something, Nick.
Yeah.
I was on the news this week.
I was vaguely aware of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 4/20. It was April
Nice.
20th. It was 4/20. We're recording this in advance. And I walked out of my apartment. In San Francisco, I live in the Haight-Ashbury district, which is like the sort of historical ground zero for hippie culture and the summer of love.
Yeah.
And it isn't, I mean, obviously that is a bygone era, but I don't think tourists are aware of that.
Well, it also still borders on the eastern edge of Golden Gate Park,
Yes.
which is a big bunch of hills and paths, and the fact that the Haight-Ashbury borders on Golden Gate Park probably helped in it getting its reputation at the time, but it has also helped it be the place where if you're a young person who likes smoking a lot of weed every day, you have a place to do that is right next to the Haight-Ashbury.
There were so many teens in my neighborhood on 420. It was outrageous. I forget that teens exist most of the time.
Because you live in San
'Cause I live
Francisco?
in San Francisco, and they're just, I'm sure they're there, but I don't,
Right.
I never encounter them. There aren't we have indoor malls, right? We have sort of,
Teens don't go to
but we
those
don't, yeah,
anymore.
exactly. Well, I don't know what teens do. I just mean
They're
there's
Snapchatting and
I don't know
smoking weed in the park.
I assume teens go somewhere, but wherever it is, they aren't places that I encounter, and I also think there just aren't as many of them in this city. So I just forget teens are real. But there were many, many teens in my neighborhood on 420, and they were very excited that it was 420, except that because they're teens, they also can't be too excited. So they have all their stupid shirts with weed slogans and stuff on them, but they're definitely trying to be as low-key and cool as possible.
Right.
Yeah, I know it's 420.
NBD. That's probably lame. That's probably a lame abbreviation now.
Yeah,
Probably
no,
one
they would
says
just
that.
they would just say it
Yeah.
while having a shitty meme smoking weed on.
They
their
would just
shirt.
say NBDAF. And
They would not say that.
So I walk out of my.
So what persona of yours was on the news here? Given the thread of this current conversation.
Yeah, you'll be shocked to discover. So I walk out of my apartment and like literally a second after leaving the door of my apartment building, there's a reporter with a camera and a microphone in my face and like, oh, do you live here? And I'm like, yeah, I live right here. She's like, you live here, like right here?
So
I'm
you're
like, yep.
high as fuck right now.
And she was like, oh, what do you think about the 420 festival? Like every year, like right in the middle of my neighborhood and Golden Gate Park, there is like a huge it just turns into Weed Town for a day, basically.
The mayor declares it that, actually.
Anyway, so she's like, oh, what do you think about this? And I'm like, oh, like I'm totally in favor of like pot legalization. And like, I think it's great that they have sponsors now. And like, I hope that that's like helpful because, usually it's like really, there's just like a lot of trash and it's like people don't pick up after themselves.
Thanks, I got everything I need.
Yeah.
Thanks, got it. Perfect.
And the entire, we probably talked for like 3 minutes. The entire clip on the internet, it just comes in and I'm just like, yeah, they just don't really clean up after themselves. And
then you like tripped over 3 shoehorns. It was like, it was a disaster.
yeah, it was, I should have known. I should have been prepared. So I was broadcast to local television, fully inhabiting the like old man cartoon that I apparently am increasingly embodying by way of this podcast, and I guess the rest of my life.
Your entire media presence you're on brand. It's just not the brand you
well
want.
done.
It's fine. I don't give a shit. The other thing that comes along with your old man persona is not giving a shit about your persona.
This is like the most specifically shaming monkey's paw, where you're like, I want to be famous, and then the finger on the monkey's paw curls up. It's like, you'll be famous, but everyone will think you're an old man. I'm like, I don't know if I care about that, but I guess that's a curse
fine.
now.
Yeah. So that was my brush with fame this week.
Nice.
On like KTVU2.
I hope you
Bay
now
Area
become
news.
like increasingly a go-to talking like man on the street persona where like
Right.
if all the local sort of just beat reporters for broadcast TV are like, oh, let's even get Ramo, he's always offers some good color. Like if you can just
We found this guy and he doesn't really look that old, but he's like, trust me, he's like super old. It's really good.
He'll say anytime you need a soundbite for local curmudgeon, just hit this guy up. He loves talking to us. I think he wants to be famous or something.
Yeah, San Francisco doesn't really have teens or old people. It just has like ambiguous 20 and 30 somethings. But we still need to get that like whole demographic range of perspectives, so
Yeah.
they just got to be more creative.
Yeah, did
And
they
I'm
like
there to
snap a
help 'em out.
Polaroid of you and add it into like a journal that they keep around? No.
So that was my 420.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Smoke weed every day. So with that out of the way, we have an email from Davey Reedon.
Yeah.
Yeah. The creator of the Stanley Parable, actually. And he's writing in about the Disney film Aladdin. That was what, like 1993 or something?
Yes.
He says, early in Aladdin, after the genie is released from the lamp, Aladdin tricks him into freeing them from the Cave of Wonders by musing that the genie probably isn't even powerful enough to get them out of the cave. This leads the genie to burst them out of the cave to safety, only to realize shortly afterward that Aladdin hadn't actually wished them to be freed from the cave, and so basically Aladdin had essentially gotten a free wish. This opens up a whole line of questioning about the nature of the genie's powers. Later in the film, when Aladdin is tied up and thrown into the ocean, the genie says he can't save him unless Aladdin wishes for it, and thus uses one of his wishes. So which is it? Why can the genie save Aladdin just for the funsies at first, but can't do it once Aladdin's life is in significantly greater danger? There are plenty of other inconsistencies throughout the film, such as during the song Prince Ali, when the genie grants Aladdin the superhuman strength to lift 10 men into the air, despite strength playing no role in Aladdin's original wish. Who exactly is the genie beholden to in determining what magic costs wishes and what doesn't? It also occurs to me that if the genie could just do cool things for his masters whenever he's tricked into it, and if he ultimately wants to be free, surely he could incentivize his masters to free him by granting them loads of free wishes in exchange for using their last wish to free him. Surely after 10,000 years you'd stumble onto this logic eventually. This has been weighing on me, and I'd love to get some answers.
I remember watching the TV show
There was a TV show?
Yeah, which is weird.
It was a Disney Afternoon cartoon.
Oh, I watched a lot of that show. And I gotta say, the Genie was a character, obviously. But he was free. But he still could just do whatever he wanted to do. Like, he was still just like a magical being that could just like
Right, he could help out his
shoot lightning
buddies.
bolts out of his fingers
Yeah.
and shit.
So why not just immediately grant him freedom?
That's what because you can't trust the Genie.
Ah.
Right?
Yeah, you definitely fucking can't, because he has absolutely no, like, when his own pride is hurt, he's willing to like break this apparently like non-binding contract to allow him to grant whatever wishes he wants. But when you're about to die, he's like, well, only got 3 wishes, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta wonder, like, what is actually governing the Genie, right? Like,
Yeah.
what?
I think that I when I was a kid, I assumed that like those manacles on his wrists had some kind of magical power.
That's actually, I think, canon, because at the end when he's freed, they come off of him like they are manacles, except that then in the cartoons and in all the sequels, his character design would have been really boring, so they just put them back on. Maybe he just got like plastic decorative ones from a Genie costume.
I just miss them. I miss these.
I miss being enslaved, says the Genie.
This like reminder of my previous like life of
Of my
bondage.
thousands of years trapped inside of this lamp.
They're
forced
such a cool character detail. I just couldn't let them go.
They're my iconic look.
I wish I had them back.
It just feels like the Genie in Aladdin is kind of a chump. Like, he's the nicest guy. He is genuinely, legitimately good Genie, and the implication in the film is maybe that is not always the case, because Jafar wishes to be a genie and is a shitty genie, and he's really mad about the like, you know, you're cursed, you can't do anything.
I don't remember the
Does
dynamic
Jafar
of this
wish
movie.
to be a genie?
Yeah, that's the big plot twist. Sorry, Aladdin spoilers. Disney's Aladdin spoilers. Yeah, the big plot twist in that movie, or like not the plot twist, the way that they undo the villain is they talk up how all-powerful and amazing the Genie is, and that even if Jafar wanted to be the greatest sorcerer in the world, someone with a genie could still basically outdo him with the magic of a genie. And he goes, oh, I want to be a genie. So he turns into a big smoke-filled beast, and then right at the last second, the 2 golden manacles snap onto his wrists, and it's revealed that he's not going to be allowed out of the lamp until someone rubs the lamp and makes a wish.
So do they then put it in a fucking concrete block or something?
That's in Aladdin
They just
2.
throw it in the sand.
They just throw it
No
in
one will find this.
until
Sorry, I'm
Aladdin,
Iago right
until
now.
Aladdin.
No one will find this.
That's literally the story of the 3rd Aladdin sequel, which is the direct-to-video sequel, The Return of Jafar, where someone rubs that lamp, and then Jafar pops
Seems
out.
like they fucked it by like putting him into a lamp that someone could rub and then not keeping track of it.
Yeah, but
Why don't they just smash the lamp?
no.
Oh.
That's in Aladdin 5.
Yeah.
Why didn't they smash the lamp?
Aladdin 6, they smashed the lamp.
Aladdin 6, they smashed the lamp.
Why didn't when Aladdin was drowning, why didn't he just be like, you're probably such a shitty genie, you probably couldn't even save me from this ocean?
He could
or
start
whatever.
guilting him, like, your only friend in centuries will die.
Yeah. I love you, genie.
I love
and
you.
You're gonna let me die.
I love you, and you won't get me this car that I want.
So the genie's just like a sad dad.
Yeah, it's just like, he's just,
He's like a sad single dad.
God, Genie, I just
Yeah.
feel so tired today, and the house is so dirty. I love you. You don't even have to do the work.
Yeah.
You're a genie.
Yeah.
Yo, it's a
Just
genie,
do your
just-
thing. I mean, everyone thinks you're great. So I think that the reason the genie doesn't do it is because, as I've just determined, he would immediately get into a
puts him in a
codependent, abusive relationship
Yeah.
with his master, where it's like, okay, look, if I budge an inch, I'm just it's just like
I think it's safe to say
I
I got out of a real bad relationship like 8,000 years ago. I don't want to go through it again.
Yeah.
I have to be really careful about my boundaries.
I've found that, if I get emotionally attached, people can very easily take advantage of that, and I really have to leave myself some me space. I'm the genie.
I'm sorry that you're drowning.
I'm sorry that you're drowning. If it's really that important to you, you'd use your wish, says the genie.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
If our relationship means anything, if you have any respect for me, that's a wish. Otherwise, I'm sorry, buddy.
Man, he's not doing himself any favors though by going back to his manacles.
Right. But
after
then he's like, unless there's a musical number, in which case all bets are off. We're going fucking crazy.
I just can't resist.
You got muscles, whatever. You're juggling 4,000 things. It's all happening. That also opens up more avenues for abuse.
Well,
it really does.
Abuse and also
just keep the song going, guys. Keep it going. Keep ba 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 da ba.
It's like a sort of,
and I'm super powerful.
My question watching that stuff though was always just like, while he's doing this, he's creating people for these dance numbers. Who are those people?
They're like, I've been into being with the complete history of a human life. No, you're immediately just snuffed back out of existence in a puff of smoke.
I was just like, what are there's these dancers and they're gone. Oh no.
Oh fuck, I'm back. I bet you're totally incapable of letting me live a whole life subject to my own desires. Shit.
Never had a friend like me. No, I haven't. I still don't. I hate you. Like a friend like you.
I love a friend. Please.
Now they're just stuffed back into that lamp with the huge piles of fruit and camels and stuff. Yeah, the notion that you can sort of sing like a little romantic song to someone who you're basically also have been passively just totally abusing in a codependent relationship seems like the sort of like, isn't it romantic quirk that is in the sort of like mid-century comedy films where the husband will just like sing the little song that they sang when they went on their honeymoon together, and then his wife will just do something for him, and it's just actually was played for sort of a cute couples quirk, and now is just like exhausting to watch in a modern movie. Yeah. So you could probably play that trick on the Genie as well, based on whenever anyone starts singing about anything, and he goes crazy.
Yeah.
So
just spin up a little musical number.
Yeah, if you want muscles, or if you want him to create life from nothing briefly to do your bidding or entertain you, just sort of,
You just want a raft of homunculi to sing your praises.
Just a little catchy tune is all you need. So I feel like he probably knows that he has this problem, and that's why he has to put such hard and fast rules on this.
But then once that wish bottle is uncorked, all of his like repressed, like all of his sort of everything that he's been trying to keep under wraps, it all comes out.
Okay.
Right? I mean, like that's clearly the case, right?
Right.
I mean,
so if you give him the opportunity, he'll be
like,
incredibly liberal
oh my God, I need
with
this
his
so
dispensation,
bad.
but then he goes, oh Jesus, and that sort of like
then it all goes
packs
back
it up and feels bad about it. Yeah.
I think that's probably
that's pretty
I think
bleak.
we've nailed it. And his initial weakness, that was like he was so desperate to just get a wish. Right? I mean, like he gets those sweet dopamine hits whenever he starts just like fucking magicking humans into existence for a moment. Like all that shit just goes right to his brain.
He realized that the cycle was beginning again. Like immediately, his first encounter with this new person in his new relationship, he went,
God, yeah.
He's like, oh God, and then he just tamped it down.
Man,
and then it's been about sort of establishing rules and eventually like it becoming a very healthy relationship. I'm pretty sure that's the real message of Aladdin.
Well, yeah, I guess that tracks though, because the first thing Aladdin does is like
he just knowingly
trick him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he does, and he knows what he's doing, as I recall.
Yeah,
that's because he's just a lovable scamp.
Yeah, man. All right, I think we've hashed that out. I think that's how it works.
Case closed.
Yeah.
There's a live-action adaptation of Disney's been doing these live-action adaptations of their movies recently, like they did The Jungle Book.
Broadway?
No.
You mean the movies?
Cinematic adaptation. They did The Jungle Book. They did Cinderella. Beauty and the Beast just came out. I think it's Guy Ritchie who is directing Aladdin.
Oh my God.
I want to make sure that I'm not lying to you right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is Guy Ritchie who's directing Aladdin. Guy Ritchie of like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, and the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies. And the rumor is that Will Smith is in talks to be the Genie. They've sort of been trying to update the sort of morals and characterizations of those stories as they do the live action adaptations of them. Like in the Beauty and the Beast movie, they tried to make it not be a story of Stockholm Syndrome, where just like you come to love your captor. They sort of tried to inject more agency. I wonder if this movie is going to get into addiction and manic depressive states and codependence and abusive relationships. Like, probably won't get into that. I imagine Aladdin is going to continue to be a lovable scamp, but if they actually keep all of those beats exactly the same, I wonder if it will play as well when it's an actual human being and not literally a two-dimensional character
or whatever. Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we will.
It's going to be real bleak. Rated R.
They should have gotten Sinbad.
Nick.
Oh, shit.
No, they shouldn't have.
No.
God, what a fucking coup. What a crazy announcement that would have been.
Oh, man.
Sinbad as the Genie. in Aladdin. Holy shit. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a missed opportunity.
I know. They fucked it.
Disney loves genies, apparently.
Yeah.
They got that Sinbad movie. They've got Kazam. They've got Aladdin. They have 2 other Aladdin movies.
It's because kids just want to wish for stuff and get it.
That's true.
They
That
love
is
it.
true.
They love
That
it.
is like also what blank check is.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's definitely just a thing. That's a theme.
Home Alone. I
Kind
wish I
of.
didn't have parents.
I wish. Oh, that's true. He does actually wish for
he
it.
wishes for it. He
Wow,
wishes family disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I forgot about that.
Oh, Big is also one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids wanting cool shit, and then either just getting it and it's cool, or maybe it's not quite so cool.
Or
that they
learning
learn
why
a
your
lesson.
family is actually great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though the movie would have been boring with his family
Right.
not leaving.
He was not going to get that pizza
Yeah.
to himself.
That's true. All right, what are we talking about? Do you guys want to talk about weird rat brains?
Sure.
I'll always talk about a rat brain, Chris. I'll always space for a rat brain.
This is a crazy email we got from Annie, who writes, I'm loving the new podcast. I came across an interesting concept about memory augmentation you should know about. Lab rats are being given artificial brains that can remember for them. The rats were taught to press certain levers in order to get a reward. The scientists then drugged the rats to make them forget which levers they needed to press. However, when the scientists recorded the brain signals during the training to add to the rat's brain implant, the rat was able to remember the levers even after it was drugged. The implications of this are brain augmentation that would allow humans to overcome Alzheimer's using a computer chip, or it could give humans perfect memory recall. In fact, it's possible these augmentations could help every brain function and not just memory. Add to that thought the incredible advances in artificial limbs, and it makes you wonder, will future robots evolve from metal or will they evolve from flesh? Maybe your robots wearing human skin actually grew that skin to begin with. Which type of robot would you prefer to usurp society? Thanks, Annie, and this is a Popular Science article. I read this article, and there was sort of an incredible moment in it that I wanted to read verbatim, which is, the team made an artificial hippocampus which could duplicate the normal neural signals. They turned it on and replayed the previously recorded signal, like a recorded message from the brain. The rats remembered. Quote, flip the switch on, and the rats remember. Flip it off, and the rats forget, the researcher said. That is fucked up.
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing that is went totally unremarked on in here apparently is that we just have the ability to make your memory not work.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
That was as part of the experiment, they used a drug that makes a rat forget the switch that they flipped, and apparently the drug will block the ability for the short-term memory to transfer to long-term memory.
Yeah.
Which is chemically the opposite of what the electronic brain here is doing, which is it captures a copy functionally of the firings from short-term to long-term and then stores that pattern off in memory, and they can re-inject basically a short-term memory recall of an event that happened.
Yeah, so if they suppress that connection, the rats remember the switch for 5 to 10 seconds, and then it leaves their short-term memory and they don't remember it anymore. That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's just a thing we can do to a creature, like a living, intelligent creature.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Holy shit.
It sounds like the way that it works basically is it can, by re-injecting the memory into the brain, it's functionally the rat going, oh, I remember that switch that I just flipped. I remember that switch that I flipped. I've done that very recently. It's fresh in my mind. Can just be pumped back into its brain whenever they need it to flip a switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just gas it and then it forgets that happened.
God, just imagine. How do we know this hasn't been happening to us?
Or to someone. I mean, the article then ends by saying their next plan is to try this on monkey brains, which is so crazy to me. Yeah,
Before they published this article, they injected something into the air supply that made us forget that their previous test was on human brains.
On human brains.
Right. Yeah.
The level of control that could potentially give you over any living thing is crazy to me. And the way that it works sounds fake. We record. They can't implant memories that don't exist. I don't think they have to record your brain's version of an event happening, and then they can make you recall.
What would happen
knowledge.
if they implanted someone else's memory into your brain?
It's Inception. That is literally Inception, right? That's just an artificial thought that is then put into your brain. I don't know. We'll find out when they make two monkeys.
I think
both
they've
think
done
they what?
No.
Movie Inception. I think that happened to Leonardo DiCaprio.
No. For a previous episode, I believe I did some research that we never ended up using, but there was a rat experiment that was done just like this, where they actually managed to, I think.
Oh, you're right. They gave them memories they didn't previously have.
Yeah, I think it was done like through biology and not using a microchip. But either way, they were able to successfully implant the memory of a rat
that had never
seen like
the thing. Yeah,
never experienced like a food dropping in front of its face and knowing that like X or whatever, But yeah, they've managed to do that.
No, you're right. We did talk about that. It was either on this or it was on Idle Thumbs. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're totally right. We've talked about that. What a terrible world.
Yeah.
How is man?
I can't not be completely fascinated by this. Like, yeah, it is totally terrifying, and the idea that like it seems so fake that it's like that it's just like
it seems too tidy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's that it makes me, because I have a chip in my brain that is telling me to feel this way, involuntarily excited about it, like just universally.
Oh, that's a parasite that's making you excited about it.
Right. It's both. God, it's like the idea that people have figured out this much control over things firing inside of a brain is just genuinely exciting. But then, yeah, man, do I love Coca-Cola and the taste of it in my mouth. And like, whether it's a hot or a cold day out, I know what it feels like to be refreshed by it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't pay this month.
Wait, Jake, I've never seen you drink Coca-Cola in your entire life.
I love it. And also, my PG&E bill is overdue, which might be why I love Coca-Cola so much right now. I think that my emotions have been sold out because I'm not paying some service that has now
your emotions have gone into receivership.
Yeah, I'm ad subsidized now, you guys. All of my likes and my just personal taste. That's fine, though. I still have all of my memories, which aren't being taken away in exchange for not being able to pay. I just really, really want a Butterfinger.
You just got some new fun ones.
Yeah.
God, that is you've proposed a terrifying concept here.
That's how anything else works that goes into the cloud. You either pay for it or you get bombarded with advertisements. So if you start offloading your own personal memories, I imagine the exchange is going to be, God, I really do want to see Terminator 6.
God, man, did you guys know there's a new Alien movie coming out?
Yeah.
I really want to see it.
Speaking of Terminator 6, I literally did not know that there was a new Alien movie until I saw suddenly yesterday I was just in the subway station and there were just ads for it on every surface, on every wall, and I literally had no idea that was even happening. And the thing that struck me as weird was that the tagline for the film appears to just be the word scream.
So it just says Alien Scream?
No, it just at the top of the poster it says Scream. And then at the bottom of the poster...
Oh, that's an ad for the new movie Scream.
Yeah, right? And then at the bottom of the poster it says Alien whatever, Covenant.
Okay.
I've seen the Hyde version of this.
Wait, what? Really?
Yes.
That's so much more boring.
I'm so bummed that's actually I actually just saw part of an attempted viral campaign of...
It's saying Scream actually makes perfect sense, and I think is you can backfill where that marketing conversation came from, because the slogan for Alien is, in space, no one can hear you scream.
Yes.
That's the tagline.
Right.
I thought you were proposing that the movie's title was Alien Scream, which I was so psyched about for a second, which obviously it's not called that. It's called Alien Covenant. But the idea of the movie being called Alien Scream, implying maybe we've never heard what the alien scream sounds like, because it was always in space, or
right. God, Alien Scream.
Also, Alien Scream is either a shareware game or a fucking sick album that you liked in the 90s.
Yeah, Alien Scream is...
Or it's yeah.
It's like... When you and your friends thought you could be KMFDM, you were Alien Scream. When you listened to...
In a world in which the film Alien didn't exist, that could be a crazy, grindhouse horror sci-fi movie.
Or in a world where it does exist.
That's true. Yeah. Or it could be the next film from Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that was, insane... I was basically walking through the train station and just seeing, I thought I was gonna see, Nick, to your point about there being one that's Hyde, I thought I was gonna start seeing other words because it was such a weird experience, and every single one in the whole station just said Scream, and as I was walking along, they got weirder and more abstract. The first one I saw was an actual alien face, and it said Scream, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. And then the next one I saw probably like 4 of those in a row. And then the next like chunk I saw was just the alien egg. And it said Scream. And I was like, that's not really as effective. Like, I guess it's like, oh, this will become a scary alien, then you scream.
It's because no one can hear it.
Well, hold on. And
okay.
And, well,
no. What?
Then, I see that, and I'm like, it's not working on me, like, at a visceral level. And then the next one I saw was just an actual, just person screaming. Just a human face screaming.
Were they like dressed as a space marine, or was it just a guy like just in a collared shirt?
Just a human face screaming in like sort of low light horror movie thing.
Okay.
And then it said Scream, and it literally looked like it could have been a movie poster for Scream. Okay, the egg thing maybe a little too subtle. This one maybe a little too on the nose. It's literally just a guy screaming.
The screaming guy is really getting into actually what I was about to try to get into a second ago, which is the imagined sort of amazing Sterling Cooper, really elaborately conceived advertising campaign for a new Alien movie that for some reason is called Alien Scream, where the trailer would just be silent video footage or film footage of people just screaming.
Oh, man.
Like just mouth open, and it cuts to like 15 of those, and then you get the sound, and they're all cheering because there's a new Alien movie.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Man, the silent scream, though, that's a pretty good trailer.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good trailer.
That might have already been an Alien trailer.
The problem is now it would have that stupid tinkly piano on top of it.
Oh, every time it cuts to someone, you just see the
ding.
There's no noise, but just like anguished face yelling to the heavens.
Yeah.
And then it plays the theme song to Alien.
I don't even. Is that even?
No,
does that even exist? I don't even know. What
I mean, maybe it does. Or the triplet shot would be like cutting to you increasingly baffled by increasingly insane Muni Station advertisements that ends then on the guy screaming again, and then it says the Alien Scream.
Mm-hmm. It's a good name.
And I mean, if they need a trailer made, they know who to talk to.
Not us.
If they did talk to us, and the trailer was you in the Muni Station looking increasingly baffled and annoyed at these posters, it would end with a reporter saying, "What do you think about this campaign?" And you just go,
I just really think it was way too obvious to have the screaming guy. Sorry, what was I talking about?
2024. Hashtag the Alien Scream.
4/20/24.
4/20, 2020, 4/20, 2020.
All right, let's take a break.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This episode of Important If True is brought to you by Zipcar. Zipcar is the largest car sharing service around, and you can get $25 in free driving credit by going to joinzipcar.com/thumbs.
Nice.
It is nice. Yeah, Zipcar is cool. You can reserve a car for blocks of time, I think starting at like an hour or so and going up to multiple days. It's just a really easy way to get access to a car if you don't have one because you live somewhere where cars are difficult, or if you do have one but you need a different kind of car for, to tote bigger things.
Or like if you want to look cool for a couple hours.
That's true. If you've got a hot date and you want
you've
really,
got a dumpy ass car.
Yeah, you're like, I want a nice clean car. I don't know if that's like the primary purpose of Zipcar, but they're not going to stop you.
No.
They don't care who you take with you in your car. And if you go to joinzipcar.com/thumb, I mean, they probably, if you're like kidnapping someone, they would care.
They would care.
But if you don't get caught,
Chris, this is not good.
Okay. Only do legal things with your Zipcar. And if you go to joinzipcar.com/thumbs, you can get $25 in free driving credit towards legal purposes only.
Zipcar, the perfect crime. No, I mean, it's good.
I mean, the perfect car. What? I don't know where that came from. What? Joinzipcar.com/thumbs. Zipcar.
Perfect for a body. Drug smuggling. Set the Zipcar on fire and walk away.
Just make sure you've booked it for a really long time.
Zipcar. Leave a gun in it. Take the seat home. Do you have a car that's the same make as a Zipcar, but it's missing its muffler? No one will know. Rent 4 Priuses and use them to build 1 Prius. If you nickel and dime from enough Zipcar Priuses, you could have your own with time.
For a fraction of the cost of a new Prius. This episode of Important If True is also brought to you by You Maybe. we offer shout-outs on our shows, including some of our shows, including this one, both commercial and personal shout-outs. If you want to congratulate or berate a friend, family member, acquaintance, or enemy on this very show, you can do that by going to store.idlethumbs.net and clicking on the shout-outs thing.
It's a button. Just call
It's
it
a button. I guess it's a button.
Click that button.
Click that button.
Shout out.
You can fill out what it is you want us to say or who you want us to address, and then we'll do it on this show. And if you have any requests about sort of what week you want that to happen, you can put that in there. If you're interested, go to store.idlethumbs.net to find out more.
Hi.
We are back.
Yeah.
And I believe we have a follow-up email. I don't actually know what this is. So, Nick, you're going to read it.
I am.
So the surprise is preserved for me.
We're delving into the Dempster family.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Creators of the
This is,
Dempster
this is
Dumpster.
a follow-up
Follow-up
to
to the
the
Dempster
Was that last
Dumpster
week that we talked
saga.
about Dempster
I think
Dumpsters?
2 weeks?
Yeah, it was
2 weeks ago? Yeah. The dumpster was created by brothers named Dempster.
Yeah, so this is in fact a Dempster dive.
Oh, God, okay.
What it is?
No, you're right. You're not wrong.
Andrew writes, my father worked part-time at a Dempster Brothers plant
Oh, wow.
in Cookeville, Tennessee while he was in college.
Nice.
He still has some old promotional pamphlets, which I loved to look at when I was a kid, so I have a few clarifications. Dump Master is the garbage truck specifically. They had a model called the Royal.
Oh, man, the Royal Dump Master.
As a child, I always thought the idea of a Royal Dump Master was hilarious.
It is. As an adult, I think that.
Dumpster isn't a contraction of Dump Master, but just a play on the Dempster's name.
Well, sure.
They had the kind of weird idea that they wanted all of their products' names to start with the D and end with the R. They were so dedicated to the idea that when they had to come up with a name for a flatbed, tall roll-off dumpsters, the long ones like on a construction site, they called it the Dinosaur.
What?
Yeah.
In addition to a child thinking that Royal Dump Master is funny, did they also employ a child?
Yeah.
Think about like what's a word that's really cool and starts with D and ends with R? Dinosaur. Yeah.
The Dempster disaster. Like, yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Dempster Dinosaur.
Yeah.
The Dempster
very good.
Dinosaur dumpster. That's actually, a kid would find that sad probably. Just a
Dempster
dumpster.
the Dinosaur Dumpster?
Well, no. Well, the Dempster Dinosaur dumpster, in which what is it? Just a dumpster for dead dinosaurs? That's what I would have. That's how I would interpret that.
I thought that it was
Oh,
like
no, I was-
their mascot is the Dempster Dinosaur, and everyone goes, "That's the Dempster Dinosaur." Then it says, "Please, I am the Royal Dump Master." There is like an implied Dempster McDonaldland universe that's starting to show up with the Royal Dump Master and the Dempster Dinosaur and stuff like.
That's true.
Like
Yeah.
and the Dempster disaster, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know what other. There's a Dempster destroyer.
Oh, Destroyer. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
God, you can't have a product called the Royal Dump Master and then also have one called the Destroyer, or it all sounds bowel related and it's not good.
Oh no.
Yeah.
If I was a kid and I showed up because I heard that a dinosaur was going to be present and it was just a pile of garbage, I would
It was just
probably
like
be sad.
a barge style dumpster.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think there's ever like? I mean, this would have predated probably the age of smartphones. So we don't have the video of the little girl who goes up to the Dempster dinosaur and hugs it.
Oh,
and
I
goes,
love that kid.
I love you, dinosaur.
Oh, I love garbage.
And again, you still do.
I do.
What does
I
that mean?
loved
You
it.
loved garbage.
Oh, I wanted to be a garbage man when I grew up. I loved garbage
you
and
are.
trucks.
When you learned how to
and
read and you
garbage
saw that it had
trucks.
a big sign on every single Dempster, Dump Master, and Dinosaur that said "Do not play on or around," did you like did a little tear shed when you're like, "Oh, it's work"?
Come to think of it, I love dinosaurs too.
Every kid loves dinosaurs, but you loved dinosaurs and the
Dempster.
Dempster dinosaur.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, hold on. What did you mean you loved garbage?
Well, I just loved like garbage. I love Garbage Day. My dad would go around. We'd collect the garbage
Wow.
together and like
Yeah.
take it out.
Yeah.
And then we'd wait for the garbage man,
Uh-huh.
who just seemed like a cool
Did
guy.
you know your Did you know
He
your
did.
garbage man?
Nah, probably. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I just liked waiting for the big. It was like it's a cool machine. It
It is
crushes
cool. I
things.
guess, I probably did too. Like, the garbage man got to ride on the back of the garbage truck.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He's just
Yeah.
hanging out back there.
Hanging out.
He seemed like a really cool guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I figured, hanging out in the outdoors next to a bunch of garbage all day. What could be worse than that? Or what could be better than that?
You probably got like a decent union job.
Back then, it was probably a solid.
That's probably a solid job, yeah.
I wanted to be a garbage man.
That's fair enough.
I might have
failed.
I might have looked up.
You only failed in one sense.
I went to a Scrabble word finding site and definitely got a list of every word that starts with D and ends with R.
Uh-huh.
Most of them definitely just end with ER, which is totally cheating.
Right.
But, you could have the Dempster discriminator.
I mean, Dempster
the
discriminator.
Dempster dog catcher.
Jesus.
The Dempster darkener or diminisher.
Wow.
The Dempster diminisher.
And the Dempster defacer.
These track.
The Dempster dowager.
Dempster dowager. A dowager is what?
I should
It's
know.
a woman who, like, has an inheritance from a dead husband?
I wonder if Dumpster has ever had to put ads in trade magazines asking to not call it a dumpster because it will be genericized.
Right, yeah.
Um,
Do you guys remember when, actually, like, right in this neighborhood in San Francisco for years, the country of France had a billboard, that might have been when you lived in this neighborhood, Nick, that said, if it's not from Champagne, it's not Champagne. And they just had that billboard in the middle of, like, downtown San Francisco. And it seemed like a really weird way to get that message out. But I guess...
they were probably just aiming for a high-frequency freeway.
Oh, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I used to...
Also, we're near Sonoma and Napa.
Yeah,
so they're probably,
it's probably where people stay before going to the wine country for the weekend.
Yeah.
When I used to work at newspapers and we had sort of like the trade magazines there, in one of the big ones that was read by, I guess, nationwide newspaper publishers, the front page ad, or like you'd open the cover and the double page spread inside the cover was always a 2-page ad from Xerox that was just like, if you're a copy editor who opens this, and it would have like a torn open container of aspirin, of not actually aspirin, or of like or Kleenex. It would have like a tissue box,
right?
And it was like, we are actually a company. Do not let your writers say Xerox when they mean photocopied. It was literally like they bought
That's hilarious.
the opening front 2 pages of a magazine they knew would just be in front of editors and copy editors for years. And it was just like, don't fuck us.
Yeah.
Love Xerox.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wonder if, like, I don't know where Dempster wouldn't care, I guess.
I don't know that they
refer to it
exist
as the
anymore.
Royal Dump Master. Brand giant garbage truck.
But only if it is one.
But yeah.
Please don't refer to roll-off containers as Royal Dump Masters. Please don't. We're really worried about the genericization of our brand name, Royal Dump Master.
Did I refer to wide construction trash barges as dinosaurs? Unless it is, in fact, a dumpster dinosaur dump master dumpster. Dinosaur. Disaster.
Shall we do one more reader mail and endorsements?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Fraser writes.
Hi, Fraser.
Hey, I don't know what Jake's doing. Hey, Thumbs. My favorite thing at primary school was creative writing, which we did once a week aged 9 and 10. I was pretty good at it, but when I couldn't come up with an original story, I would plagiarize it from the canon of my favorite game, Banjo-Kazooie. My teacher had no idea what it was and thought that I alone had come up with a crazy universe involving a talking bear and a bird who ran around hunting giant golden jigsaw pieces, with the help of a weird shaman skeleton dude named Mumbo Jumbo. Creative writing was my best subject, and I received the weekly Star Writer sticker a few times. I'm now in the final year of my PhD, and I like to think that the reams of Banjo fanfic I wrote at age 10 were partially responsible. Obviously, I was so obsessed with Banjo that it bled into my work. Did anything like this happen to you guys as kids, or broadly, has there been a time when you were so deeply involved with a work that it influenced unrelated aspects of your life in unexpected ways? Cheers, Fraser. Or Fraser.
I don't know if I have to think about an example of the latter, of my work being subconsciously influenced, but I remember my little brother, we like cleaned out my parents' attic at one point in our lives, and we found like a 6-page storybook called The Adventures of Tom, and it was about how he had found this, it was about just an explorer named Tom who was really generic, and my brother drew like really bad stick figure pictures. But the only thing that was really specific was the artifact that this explorer had found was an immaculately carved jackal statue, and we could not remember where the fuck it came from until the Adventures of
You
Young.
mean where the idea came from?
Yes, like
Yeah.
why would my brother decide that it was a jackal
Right.
statue?
Yeah.
And then the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones came out on DVD,
Ah.
and the 2-part pilot episode, which spans 2 generations or 2 eras of the life of young Indiana Jones, focused entirely on the discovery of this jackal. And I remember Nick being so proud of that story as a little kid, and we had all forgotten where it was from.
Right.
And then the two of us went, "Oh, you just totally straight ripped off Indiana Jones for this."
Oh man.
So
That's pretty good.
yeah.
When I was in elementary school, I feel like this basically, not exactly this. I feel like I basically bullshitted my way through all of school until college with basically with even lower rent versions of this. Like I feel like I was basically a swindler until I got to college and actually had to like be accountable for the work I did. At least when it came to like any creative.
Like, what's an example of this?
Well, so I just remember in elementary school, I don't know really,
I just copied what my friends wrote next to me. Like,
I don't remember how I did this, but we had a creative writing sort of like unit, and I don't think I ever actually wrote anything for it, but I somehow managed to like talk the teacher into thinking that I had some like incredible plan for what I was writing. I remember that
what? So you got into like a confidence scheme with them or
yeah,
something?
I did. I remember it really vividly, like down to the specifics of how I like had sort of evidence that I was working on it. Like I remember I was like, oh, this one is going to be like a really impressive. It's going to be like a siege of a castle, like a fantasy castle, like a medieval castle. I was really into castles at the time, and I had one of those cutaway books.
Did you ever have to deliver? Because in the film version of this, which is like basically one of those 90s kids movies we were talking about earlier, meets the story of the Music Man, you would have to deliver at the end. There'd be some payoff, but you probably just escaped to college.
I remember having like the loose leaf paper, right? And then I wrote like, I thought it was going to be so cool if it started sort of in medias res, where it starts with the word attack. I remember that. It was like attack, and that was going to be like, in quotes, was like the very first word of the whole story, right? And it was going to be like super intense because it opens in the middle of this crazy action. And I remember I wrote attack on the page, and I wrote the A really big, and I basically just turned it into like an illuminated manuscript where I was like, I don't actually have any ideas for what happens after the word attack. So I just got increasingly like obsessed with ornamenting the A and like drawing frames around it and like gilding it in all sorts of ways. And I would like show it to my teacher, and I'd be like, this is going to be amazing. Like, look how cool this is going to be.
God.
And for some reason, she like went in for it. She's like, oh wow, like you're really like taking a
idea guy huckster.
I know,
Remo.
total idea
Wow.
guy piece of shit. And I definitely did not write ever a single other word of that, but it was fine. Yeah, I was basically just full of shit in elementary school.
As were we all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Nick, I believe you also had something for.
Oh yeah, I was completely full of shit.
Yeah.
And
well, that I could have guessed.
yeah. But we probably don't have time on this episode. But maybe next episode.
All right, next
we
episode.
can-
Evidence
we
of
can-
Nick's shit.
Yeah.
Nick Brecken,
Yeah.
also
Well documented.
elementary school huckster.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in the meantime, shall we endorse?
Let's do it.
All right. Nick, what do you? Let's get yours over with while you can still speak.
I'm going to endorse
Mm-hmm.
Equator Coffee.
Oh. Wow, you're a fucking artisanal bro this week.
Well, I guess so, right? Yeah, this is a little upscale, I suppose. But
You suppose?
well, what is it? I don't know.
I would like to endorse a juice machine.
Fuck.
No. Endorse your coffee.
I mean, I don't buy Equator every day, but when I do,
It's Equator Coffee.
yeah. No, I mean, look. Okay, so Equator Coffee is it's local to here. It's in San Rafael, and they make coffee for all kinds of restaurants. So like these upscale places, but they also just make coffee that's just regular blends of coffee, and you can buy sort of like huge 2-pound bags of it that make it not cheap but fairly priced.
Sure.
And it's delicious coffee. It is the best coffee I think that I've been able to find that is reliably available and always, I know exactly. Like you can get the French Laundry blend, you can get whatever blend. They're all about basically the same price, and it's just really good coffee, and they ship it right to your door for free shipping.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really good, and I enjoy it.
Nice. Equator Coffee. Yeah. I am going to endorse. If you travel ever, I am going to endorse packing cubes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I saw you and Sean talking about packing cubes in the office.
Oh yeah. They're great. This is one of those things that's it's such a simple idea. It seems almost pointless, but it's actually really helpful. So packing cubes are basically, they weigh almost nothing. They're just little like vinyl. I don't know whatever the material that like windbreakers are made out of, that sort of polyester kind of whatever it is. Often they have kind of a mesh thing, and they're just little rectangular prisms that zipper closed, and they're of various sizes, and you put your clothes in those, and then you put the packing cubes in your suitcase. And this is especially helpful if your suitcase also is rectangular, like a roller bag. They will just fit in there really easily, and they're useful on two fronts. One, to sort of just organize your packing stuff. It's nice when you arrive at your destination and you can just open like the underwear one and the shirts one and whatever, and everything is just there. You don't have just a big pile of stuff that's all combined and like sloshed around during travel. That's a really nice thing. And then even more usefully, when you're coming home, I always end up designating one as the dirty laundry one, or two if you need it. And it's so nice
three.
or three when you get home to be able to just dump those right into your hamper and then have your clean stuff in another one. But they also are good for maximizing space, because when you pack all of your stuff into these individual packing cubes, each one of them you end up sort of compressing as much as you can. So when you put everything all into the suitcase all at once, like I find that tends to end up being really inefficient and not very thought out. They just end up making you more thoughtful about space and efficiency, and they're just really handy. I now always use them no matter what, whenever I pack for travel, which I will do in a matter of days. And they're great. Packing cubes.
Classic cubes.
Yeah.
All right. I would like to endorse...
Jake.
Me. What I would like... Okay, this is a kind of stupidly specific thing, so apologies in advance if this is dumb. I would like to endorse seeking out and watching the British version of the Great British Baking Show, known in the UK as the Great British Bake Off. If you're in America and you've watched that show and liked it, which a ton of people seem to have done over the last couple of years, know that the British version of it actually has probably 5 to 10 minutes an episode that they cut out of the American version that focuses on the history of whatever the theme of that episode is. Like, it's a nice baking show. It makes every other reality TV show or sort of cooking show seem really grating and full of mean people. Like the Bake Off is just a fun show to watch, but each episode is themed like a lot of cooking shows are around something. And the British one, the history segments that they have in there, I find really good, and I think they actually add a lot of context, especially as someone who's not from England and doesn't know why they're making some of the weird stuff they make on that show. Like some stuff is just exceedingly British on there. Mm-hmm. The other piece of the British series that they, I think, have started to reintroduce for some seasons in America is a set of spin-off episodes at the end called The Masterclass, where the two hosts, Paul Hollywood and Mary Berry, actually cook their versions of every single thing that was cooked or baked during the entire season of the show. And that part is fantastic because it actually explains how one could actually make any of these things. And also, if you watched that show as an American and wondered, are these two people full of shit? Are they just sort of Hollywood-style reality TV judge personalities who don't actually do this? They do it to a degree that just like shames everyone who exists on the face of the earth. Like, it's a good watch. I think if you don't live in the UK, it's hard to get some of this stuff. You probably have to, like Nick, I know you watch some of it by VPNing into England. Yeah. But if you liked the Great British Baking Show in America or wherever you saw it that was not the British version, and you're hungry for more specifically of that aspect of sort of like either the story behind the story or more instructional content or whatever, they offer it, and I actually like it as much as, or maybe at this point more than some of the main competition stuff.
Man, that's awesome. I would love to see Mary Berry and Paul Hollywood actually make stuff.
There are also earlier seasons that just are not going to air in the U.S. that you can catch if you go back and watch
there's a ton of bake-off content that we just don't get here in the United States.
Yep.
And it is a nice calming show to watch. I think the masterclass
really
stuff
is
slowly making its way into like the PBS online streaming stuff, but
really? Okay, cool.
There's like dozens of episodes of that at this point, and I don't think we have most of them here.
We just watch it on Netflix. It's really difficult to figure out like what corresponds to what, but we actually coincidentally have been watching whatever the third season on Netflix is, which is probably like, I don't know, season 6 or something. I have no clue what that is in the original one, but we just by coincidence finished that up a couple days ago. And yeah, man, Great British Baking Show or Great British Bake Off, that is such a nice calming element to have. Oh, it's so it's like honestly helpful at this point, given how just stressful the world is. It's great. It's
just
so nice to just turn people on and like compete, but also be happy for each other when someone wins. Just like, it's just so nice. Everyone's so nice on this show.
Yep. It's frustrating though that in the American version of it, anything sort of educational or historical was just removed from the show. They left behind what is still a good show.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of other stuff that I recommend seeking out, especially if you already like what you see in America.
I will do that.
Thanks for listening to this podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to Important If True. We'll be back next week, which for us means in about 2 minutes when we keep recording another episode to have in the can before I go off on a trip with my packing cubes, like the old stupid man that I am. If you like this show, please tell a friend. And you can send us email at questions@importantiftrue.com. Send us questions about whatever is on your mind, whatever's going on in your life that you need our perspectives on, anything weird you've been observing. We will take all of those emails and whatever else you can think of to questions@importantiftrue.com. Again, thank you for listening, and we will be back next week with stories of Nick Brecken's elementary school exploits. For Idle Thumbs, I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Nick Brecken.
If you like listening to this show and are interested in hearing an ad-free version of it, we have a Patreon which directly supports us and the production of this show. If you go to patreon.com/idlethumbs and give $5 a month, you get a custom advertising-free feed of Important If True. If you back it more than that, you get a bunch of weird postcards that we send out once a month, which are slowly revealing themselves to be interactive mystery story, I guess. So hopefully people figure out what the hell that is. You too could figure out what the hell it is. Patreon.com/idlethumbs. And I'm Jake Rodkin.
Stay spicy. Guys, we can go home now.
Nope, we have to do 2 more.